So many of you may have seen a lot of my FM exploits on Twitter. A lot of you have been asking, AP, how have you done that? What tactic do you use? Well, today I'm about to show you. And here it is, guys. As you can see, it's a 4-3-3 with 1 DM and 2 centre mids. You'll probably see me use a 4-3-3 like this very often. It's a very adaptable formation with a changing of a few instructions and a few roles and stuff like that. You can change the complete way it works. It's a very, very good sort of adaptable formation like that. So the first thing we're going to do is go over the basic philosophy of the tactic, how it works, what we want to do and what we want it to do and what we want the players to do, and yeah, let's get on to that. So as you can see, it's an attacking mentality. Is the mentality that we use. The tactic's all about pressing high up the pitch, using the offside trap, giving the opposition absolutely no time with the ball, choking them of possession, and then when we regain the possession, keeping hold of the ball, making some nice short, like sharp passing, building up some good play to then work into the box and try and score through that. So that's the mentality. So the next thing we can go on to is the team shape. So we'll click on this here, and as you can see, the description says the team is split into broad attacking and defensive units, with the more creative players responsible for the attacking phase and the more defensive disciplined players responsible for the defensive phase. However, players from each unit are expected to move into the transition phase when the right opportunity arises. So what that basically does is, looking at the pitch, we split the outfield players into 2 groups of 5, with the front 5 all focused on the attacking movement mostly, and the back 5 responsible for the defense sort of phase of the game. And then when we're transitioning through, we kind of want them all to link up. Maybe not so much the centre backs, but the full backs and the DM will help retain the possession, recycle the possession to move it on to the 2 advanced playmakers and the front 3 to then build into an attacking move and break down the defence. And the next thing and the last thing about the philosophy is looking at the team instructions, what we want to do, what we want the team to do as a whole. So we'll click on them here. There's only 8 of them, and we'll first go for how we want to play. So in the possession, we want to play out of defence. As you said, I want to build and make sure we're playing some good high possession football, and that will have to be done with playing out of defence and the shorter passing. If you find a team when you're using this tactic sort of pulling the trigger too early and wasting opportunities, you can always work the ball into the box on. We then also want to look for the overlap. As you may have noticed on the tactic screen earlier, we play a deep lying forward on support, so we want him to hold up the play, draw some of the centre backs out for then the wingers and the advanced playmakers to push on the overlap, be ready for the through balls. So we have to look for the overlap on. And in terms of the shape of the possession, of the tactics, we have play narrower and push higher up. I want to push higher up because we're using the offside trap and preventing short goalkeeper distribution. And we play narrower because we have an inside forward coming in and 2 APs. We want to have this formation when we're going forward. Focus on using the centre of the park and building up play. You'll see how we will deal with width coming at us later in the tactic. And the other thing we've got here is a lower tempo. As I said, we want to just keep hold of possession, build up play, and build some clear chances, not rush the possession. So that's the instructions and all the rest of the philosophy done. We're now going to look at the individual roles. So here we are, guys. We'll go from the back forward. So the first thing to look at here is the goalkeeper. I'm not going to give this much attention. I've simply gone for a goalkeeper on defensive duty. You could go for a sweeper keeper here if your keeper that you have would work well as that. But this tactic works fine with just having a goalkeeper on defend. Obviously with a sweeper keeper, he can help sweep those balls up if the opposition does break at you with pace, breaks your offside trap. It gives the keeper a chance to cut it out. But the keepers I've used and the keeper I've used in this tactic has been a goalkeeper on defence, and it's worked fine for me. So next we're going to focus on the 2 centre backs here. Now we'll click on this and we shall look at the best roles for the position which he is, which is central defender defence. Now ignore my players, this is not important what my player stats are. What's important is what should be good for the players and what the key stats are. So as you can see, they've got the main sort of standard sentinel defensive key stats here, things like heading, marking and tackling, although having a little bit of a low marking attribute in this tactic isn't the worst to have, but obviously you would want the best marking you possibly could get. And then we've got the mentals here, standard defensive mentals, like things like concentrations, decisions, determination, anticipation is a very key one for this position, positioning as well, and then the jump in reach and the strength. But an extra thing I want to add on specifically for this tactic is your central defenders should have decent pace. Now that doesn't mean they have to be quick, but they should definitely not be slow. As long as they've got like average pace or above for whatever league that you're in, it's very important, because when teams counter at you is when you're going to be at your most vulnerable, and with teams that come at you with pace, they have the chance to break the offside trap. You need your centre backs having the pace to help battle that basically, and be able to cover the counter attack coming at you when people do break through. So that's the centre backs done. Now we'll look at the full backs. So here you are, two fullbacks, as you can see, both on the support role. We'll have a look at their key stats now. So here we go, we select this, fullbacks on support. Basically, I would just go with the key stats that they've got here. We just want a standard fullback who's got good work rate, he's going to get up and down the pitch. In terms of whether you want a more attacking fullback or defensive fullback, I definitely think in this tactic you need a more defensively orientated fullback. So when you're looking to sign people and pick people, take fullbacks that are defensively apt over ones that offer more going forward. Although it is a very good bonus to have in this tactic, having a fullback with good crossing, dribbling, and the ability to, you know, help out with the attack and the transition phase. And another key thing is, as with the centre backs, is pace, because this back four, as I said before, its weakness is going to be the fact you're playing this high line with the offside trap. And when you commit numbers forward and people come at you in the counter, you want these guys to have the pace, the work rate, the desire and the ability to come back and cover. So that's the fullbacks done. We'll go into the last defensive position now. So here we are, the last defensive position we're going to look at is the DM, which I've got as an anchorman defend. You could probably play about with a few roles in this one, but I've gone for an anchorman defend, and I'll explain to you why now. So we've come into here, we'll look at the key attributes for an anchorman on defense. Now this guy, for lack of better words, is just going to be a hard bastard playing in front of your defense. He's going to be there to just constantly put pressure on oppositions, hassle their key attacking players, put in the big tackles, and be really sort of just there to help protect that back four. But also he is going to be needed to help recycle possession should you need to, should the defence be holding well. He's an extra option along with the fullbacks and possibly even the centre backs as sort of a recycling option of possession. So again, with this position, just look at the key stats that it gives to describe you for an anchorman defence. Pace is kind of good in this one, but it's not extremely necessary because he's just always going to be sat there in front of those two centre backs. But yeah, basically you want a hard man in front of your back four who's got the desire to go around and just break legs, break hearts, and make sure that the opposition isn't comfortable on the ball at any time. So now we've done the defence, we're going to move on to the attacking five, and we're going to look at the centre midfielders here. And as you can see, they're both on advanced playmakers. So I'll explain why now, and we'll have a look at the key stats here. So as described in the philosophy that I did earlier, the team shape is a fluid team shape. So these are more attacking players and should really about 80% be concentrating on just being good attackers. So we'll have a look at the key stats here for an advanced playmaker attack. And as you can see, it's mainly about attacking technical attributes and mental attributes with things like flair and off the ball and their decisions. Their teamwork and vision is very good on work rate. Now that's one thing I will say about this whole tactic, is having people with good vision, teamwork and work rate is really good, because you want to press as a group when you don't have the ball and you want to make sure the opposition doesn't have the ball, and you need people who are willing to work hard for that. Another thing I may add to the key stats of this position, is finishing, because these are advanced playmakers attacks looking on the overlap, so they are going to be pressures from arriving late into the box, pressuring the edge of the box, looking for shots there, and trying to overlap past the defenders. So finishing is another good stat here to have. Composure is already listed as a key stat, and pace is not that, again, in these attacking positions, for the centre midfield at least, pace isn't really that important. So there, we basically want the most attacking and technically gifted centre midfielders you can find. So now we've had a look at that, we're going to go to the wide positions, and two different roles here. First of all, we're going to look at the AMR, which is a winger on support. So let's get into his key stats and what he's going to be doing for the team. So here we go, a winger on support duty. I'd go with the key stats of that Football Manager recommends for this position. Basically, his job is to be a sort of direct attacker, looking to always beat the opposition, beat a man, find a pass out from the wide right. He's got a different role to the AML, and that's because, as I said earlier, we play a narrow formation and we want to attack the centre. But sometimes when you're doing that and coming up against certain formations and defensive setups, it's going to really get crowded in there. So you're going to want to put a winger on support duty out on the right. So as much as that he comes inside, you want to see him trying to stretch the play a little bit, trying to just simply beat a man, get a ball in the box, and try and find either the AML, the striker, or the APs running from deep. So yeah, pace is really key in this. Good crossing, good dribbling, good first touch, good passing, good technique. Work rate and teamwork are really key for this as well. But yeah, just a pacey man who can get that ball in the box. He's flourishing, got some talent to go past a man, and his defensive abilities isn't really a very key thing. So the next winger here, we've got the AML, who's inside forward on attack. Now this guy is going to be probably your most key attacking threat. He's going to bag you the most goals in a season, and yeah, we'll have a look at his key stats. So here we go, guys. As I said before, ignore the player that I've got. Just look at what the game highlights. My players' attributes aren't important, especially because this isn't the first team that I've got on the screen at the moment. So we've got inside forward on attack here. Now this guy, just like the AMR, needs to be flourishing, really good in the ball, eager to take on a man, have really good attacking talent, and most of all have excellent dribbling and finishing. It is also good for him to have the ability to pass and cross as well to help get the ball into the box. But I'd say dribbling, finishing, pace, having a fast man on the AML position is great as well. Make sure he's flourishing. Good long shots is a good attribute to have also, and off the ball, having a really high off the ball stat will be awesome here, with him looking for the overlaps with pace, breaking at defenders. He's going to be a right handful and looking to capitalise on any passes or crosses he gets in there, and yeah, just basically look to be an out and out goal threat. So that's the AML. We've got one more position to look at here, so let's have a look at that. Okay guys, so the final position is striker. Now I've gone for a deep line forward support here. You could probably get away with going for a false 9 and perhaps even a complete forward. But you've got to make sure that this striker is going to come deep and primarily look to help aid others get goals, and then after maybe push on late into the box as a secondary duty, look to try and get on the end of the goal, maybe fashion a chance for himself. So I've gone for a deep line forward on support. We'll have a look at the key stats now. So here we go, guys. We'll highlight the stats here. Deep line forward on support, and basically his goal scoring ability isn't the biggest thing about this position. This man's meant to come deep, help out with the transition phase, and also come deep to drag maybe a centre back out or a DM off his man, and then those guys being out of position will help aid people looking for the overlap, like the advanced playmakers, like the inside forward and the winger, and craft out chances and disrupt the defense. So a lot of mental abilities here are key. Things like composure is off the ball, trying to find space. You want his good teamwork, vision. Decent passing is a good trait to have, and like dribbling is first touch. Strength also, to be able to hold up the ball, shrug off anybody pressuring him. Good balance, that obviously goes in with strength. But yeah, basically he's a hold-up player and someone who looks to create chances for others before then looking to find some space and a goal-scoring opportunity for himself. He's probably the second biggest threat going forward for you behind the AML. I'd then say the two advanced playmakers and the winger support are then your sort of third biggest threats. But yeah, having good finishing and heading and stuff like that on this player obviously is a bonus if he can finish the chances that he does get in front of him. But yeah, that's all the positions done and the key stats for that and how they work. We'll go on to the rest of the tactic now. So for this final part, I'm going to look at the player instructions, and then I'm also going to describe things you can change about the tactic to help adapt to your opponent. That's the key thing about playing Football Manager, is having a good solid tactic like this that you know you want to start out with and does well and do well for you. Then you also have to sort of adapt it, and I'll show you how I've adapted it, and how you can adapt it during the game. And then the final part will be I'll go over my record with Wrexham and how I've done. So let's go to the player instructions. We'll go to the player instructions here. The only thing we've got for the goalkeeper is to distribute to the fullbacks. The fullbacks have got instructions to stay wider, so most of the time they will be free for the pass. We don't really want them giving it to the centre back. Maybe if you could distribute to the anchor might be good, but personally I distribute to the fullbacks and they can take it from there. Centre backs have nothing on them. And then we go to the DM, who basically, as I described him earlier, has got close down more and tackle harder on. He is going to be harassing the opponent continuously, looking to smash people and make sure that they're not comfortable on the ball and they're scared that whenever they are on the ball, this man is coming for them. Then for both fullbacks, they've got both the same attributes. The same instructions. As you can see here, pass shorter. We want him passing shorter, usually into a centre mid or a DM, possibly even a centre back if that's the only option. We've also got more riskier passes. Now, what this does is when the fullback is supporting the attack and you're in the transition phase, you're sort of out of your half. Maybe sort of he's on the edge of the halfway line or something. If there is an out ball, like playing into the players in front of him, maybe the deep line forward, maybe a long pass to the advanced playmaker, it will encourage him to take it sometimes. And this is a bit of a risky play. You can take this off if you want to be a bit more safe. But it also helps, you know, getting additional options for getting the ball forward a little bit more sharpish and a bit more direct. And the final one is stay wider. Because we've got the play narrower team instruction on, and we've got a narrow formation, we want the fullback staying out wide, though. That's how we're going to deal with the width coming at us from oppositions. These guys have got to make sure that they're always covering the flanks. So now onto the centre mids. Only two individual instructions here for both of them: close down and tackle harder. It's the same as the DM, but these guys are just going to close down and tackle hard when they can, just to make sure we are always harassing the opponent and they don't get time on the ball. The AMR's got tackle harder. We don't really want him closing down too much. The whole team closes down a lot, but I'd rather him focus on being in space when we do turn over the ball. The same here for the AML. And the next bit we go on to here is the deep line forward on support. He's got the instruction to dribble more on, try and keep hold of the ball, drag people out of position, stay on the ball so it gives chance and time for people to find better positions going forward. He's also got close down more, so he's going to be harassing players when he's off the ball, and when he's on the ball he's going to be constantly looking for space. We've got tackle harder on him because everyone from the midfield forward's got tackle harder on, so they're making sure that we're not just chasing shadows, we're actually getting tackles in. And we've also got move into the channels on. This helps when we have throw-ins high up the pitch. He'll offer himself as a short throw option, and also when he dribbles and moves into the channels and gets the ball in the channel, that then allows to help drag a centre back out of space, maybe a full back out of the way, and the AML and the AMR to try and move into any space he can create and get forward. So that's all the individual instructions done. We'll have a look at the overview here. So here we are, here's the overview again. So what I'm going to go over now is things that you can do to adapt to the opponent. As I said at the start of the video, a 4-3-3 is a very sort of adaptable formation. Changing a few roles and instructions can completely change how the formation works, and that's how you're gonna adapt to your opponents. So basically, if you want to close out a game, you can always go for retain possession. You can change the mentality down to control, maybe even standard, for a little bit more safety. You could maybe change one of the advanced playmakers back into a central defender defense. That's something that I've done. And if you're wanting to chase a game, if you need a goal, if you're losing it down, you can always go for a higher tempo. Also take off the shorter passing, maybe even go for more direct passing. You can also make the defensive line much higher and pressure more up the pitch to try and get that goal. I've just dropped my pen. How professional of me. And talking about adapting, when I got Wrexham to the Prem, I did have to adapt. This is how I changed the formation. This shouldn't be on advanced playmaker, it should be on winger attack. Sorry about that. But yeah, as you can see, I dropped a centre midfielder into the defensive role. So what it does is it doesn't affect the offside trap and the way we try and play the offside trap. He's still going to pressure high up the pitch. But what it does is when we have the ball and we're going forward, he's not as advanced and he's not looking to get forward anywhere as near as much as the advanced playmakers. What it does is it sends him deeper, gives us another option to recycle the possession, keep hold of the possession more, because you know, when you're in the Premier League as Wrexham, when you've had 4 promotions in a row, other teams are better than you and they're simply going to outplay you. So what you need to do is it does that, it drops him back for extra options to recycle the possession, and also then when the opposition get the ball back, we've got an extra man there back to help pressure and help cover for the counter-attack at pace. So that's all about that done, all about the tactics. I'm going to show you what I've done here with Wrexham to show that it does work. So here we go, guys. As you can see from the league history, we got 4 promotions in a row here, including winning the Conference, the League One and the Championship. So that was all these 4 promotions were using the tactic, and then I modified it a bit when we got to the Premier League to suit some of the strengths and the needs for the Premier League and adapt to our opponents, basically. So there you go, guys. That's basically a description of how the tactic works, what you need for each position and all of that. There's a link below to a media file link. You can download the tactic there. And thank you very much for watching. Likes are much appreciated if this tactic helped you out, and make sure to comment down below how you did with the tactic, any questions you want to ask, or any things you want to speak about the tactic. If you think something could be changed to improve it, your view on the tactic, that'd be much appreciated. And yeah, hope you have fun. Good luck with this tactic. As I said, let me know how you do with it. And yeah, I've been the Advanced Playmaker. Goodbye.